Welcome to the Austin All Day Culinary Tales podcast. I'm your host, Jason Powers. This is episode 27. We're here with Chef Daivs Turner, the chef and owner of Huckleberry, who is currently working as a chef for a tech company called Sparefoot. You guys sit back, grab a drink, and check it out. Chef Daivs Turner.
Yes.
Yes. Currently you're working at Sparefoot.
Currently am, yes, for 4 more months.
I don't think when we announce Sparefoot, many people are going to know what we're talking about.
No, not a person will. It's a tech company that's off 38th Street. Kind of came in there. It was a very strange situation that got us there. I guess it was a friend of a friend of a friend, more or less. Kind of just went down the line. Was like one day, it was like, hey, somebody needs a chef to run. They want to do a lunch program for their 120 employees, and just kind of talked with them, dove in. They let me kind of put my twist and let me run my whole show the way I wanted to. Treat it more like a little restaurant, and then just kind of took off from there.
But you kind of dig it.
Yeah, well, it's good. It's definitely not what we want. It's not Huckleberry, so.
Right. But we're going to get into Huckleberry.
Yeah, it let me get to where we need to be.
Sure.
It gave me a spot where I'm still cooking. I'm still able to work with farmers, work with different purveyors, get all that good stuff going. And I can still have a life and a time to focus on the next chapter for us.
Sure. So this is the first tech company?
For me, yes.
For you, yes. But they're like Sparefoot. It's like a smaller tech company? Or
so I mean, it is, I believe, 8 years old. I could be totally wrong on that.
Sure.
But it started here in Austin, and they just wanted to kind of keep up with all the other competition, I guess I'd say, as far as the corporate companies would go. You have to have perks, have things that want your employees to be there, and one of the big perks that they have is a free lunch program for every employee that works there.
Right, and the only reason that's ending is because they're actually just moving locations.
So they're moving locations. They've bought, I believe, 2 other locations. One's in Raleigh, one's in Kansas City.
Oh.
And so we're moving into a new office, so opposed to having to do a whole other build-out for another kitchen, and if we do one at the Austin office, then they're going to have to do 2 more at the other offices. It was easier to just more or less both of us part ways, and they're going to still have a snack program, their beer program, all the stuff that we have there as well. Just
there's a beer program?
Yeah, so we have craft beers.
During work?
During work.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes I wonder how you are able to get work done. I feel like I'd be slightly useless.
We're maybe a little groggy, right? Middle of the day having a beer?
Yeah, most people don't start, I'd say. It's more on like Thursdays and Friday. It's around maybe 1,
like
2 o'clock. Yeah. It's kind of the lighter day. Yeah, you don't really see too many people on the Mondays and Tuesdays digging in early.
But this situation with Sparefoot has allowed you yourself, it's opened up some time, right?
Yeah, no, it's opened up a lot of time, and I don't even think, starting, it was never Huckleberry that we wanted to start, but we wanted to start something, and whenever we were in other restaurants and we were being a chef, when I was at Contigo, you're there, 6 days a week for 12, 14 hours a day, just trying to keep up. And there was no time, no side time to focus and be like, okay, well, where do we start? What do we do with starting a company?
Right.
And this led me to have every evening off, our weekends off, and it really jumped and kind of kick-started because we'd have more of the employees there within the Sparefoot offices. They would say, oh, we're having a party this weekend. Do you cater? And so I would say it just naturally progressed into, let's pick up more things. Let's start doing more caterings. Let's do more dinners. And then we realized within the first year that it's like, okay, well, we're actually turning a profit, so we need to make this legitimate and let's get an LLC. Let's start getting everything we need to do from the state, from the cities, And so it just it just progressed into something bigger to what it is now for us.
And this is, for people listening, Huckleberry Hospitality.
Yes, Huckleberry Hospitality.
So we mentioned Sparefoot, but this is what this has kind of evolved into.
Yes, and so we've just started, 3 months ago now.
Okay.
And
you guys are on Instagram.
On Instagram, Huckleberry Hospitality.
Do you have a website yet?
Yeah, it's huckleberrytx.com.
Okay, all right. Okay, cool.
And
And
so-
are you taking people, orders and all that stuff?
Oh yeah, no, we had events last night. We did a big open fire paella cook.
Nice.
Last night, had event Sunday for 150 people. We've done weddings. We did food and wine festival. That was a treat.
Food and wine. How was that?
That was a blast. We hung out in the Contigo and Friends fire pit area.
Yeah.
And so it was definitely a surreal moment because it happened. I think at that point we had been officially live for about a month. And then we got a call driving down the highway one day, and so Andrew asked me, hey, what are you doing on the 17th? You want to come out and hang out? You want to cook? And shit, we were thrilled. So, of course,
Absolutely.
we're going
Yeah.
to dove right in. And
Was that your first food and wine?
That was my first as myself.
Oh, okay. All right.
So we've been to Food and Wines. It was my first actual Austin Food and Wine Festival, though.
Oh, okay. And before you've been with what and where?
As far as
First Austin Food and Wine. Where are the others?
we did New York City Food and Wine.
And with who?
I was that was the Granary in San Antonio.
Oh, okay.
I was opening sous chef there. I was there for about 2 years, and it was a while back. It was we were actually there for Meatopia, and Meatopia was the name pretty much is. It's a meat festival in a sense, and it was its own little kind of festival within the Food and Wine Festival.
Okay.
And it was put on by a guy named Josh Ozerski, who was a food writer in New York.
Yeah.
And he passed away a couple years ago.
Oh, wow.
But he had this kind of dream of putting this just perfect meat festival. And we had the first one he did in San Antonio, and that was what we did. Then we got invited to New York, and then we got invited to the London one.
Yeah.
And it was just a good reason to have a good time. A lot of people sitting by fire, cooking a lot of just meat. And
that's cool. I wonder if that inspired that. Have you been to Cure in San Antonio?
yeah, no, I've been there quite often.
I wonder, it's kind of like that, along those lines?
No, not necessarily. I mean, Cure and Steve McHugh was always his own thing, his own dream. And by the way, that place is just beautiful.
Amazing,
Beautiful.
right?
Yeah.
It's
We
like-
were neighbors. The granary was about, I could throw a rock from the granary and hit Cured from
And that's all
all right there in the Pearl.
Right, okay. So, and we were talking real quick before we flipped on the mics, but you were in San Antonio. If I backtrack a little bit, you said you're from Portland, Texas. You haven't said, but you're
Yep.
from Portland, Texas.
Portland, Texas.
Whereabouts is that?
It is on the north side of the Corpus Christi Bay.
Okay.
So nobody would ever know what Portland is. Anytime I say I'm from Portland, everybody's like, oh, Portland, Oregon.
Yeah, yeah.
Love Portland. So
Right.
we're a different one, but
Yeah.
just as fun.
Just leave it at Portland, right? Mess with people. I'm sure you have once or twice.
Yeah. No, they don't think it's that. They always never know there's one little town there. But yeah, it's right outside of Corpus. You can see Corpus Christi from
Anything-
the other side of the bay.
Anything good about it? Is family still there?
Oh, my mom and my grandpa and my uncle, I believe that's it there. At one point in time, everybody lived there. So,
Right.
I mean, you had my grandfather across the street. You had my other grandmother down the road. My aunts and uncles were all within a mile of this little
Small
neighborhood.
population?
Probably I think when I grew up, 18,000.
That's nice.
So, I mean, it's small, but not like tiny.
It's not tiny, but I mean, nothing like this. You
No,
definitely
no,
feel
no.
like you're getting away when you go there. I'm
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, no, still do. I mean, it's there's nothing to do there but really fish, and it's
Hey.
farm town and fishing. That's
Yeah,
about it.
sometimes that can be nice.
I don't know. As a kid, I hated it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I liked to go into the beach,
yeah.
but we were 30 minutes from Padre,
Okay.
and so just being there, I think a lot of the time I was like, oh, why can't we just live on Lake Padre? Why do we have to live all the way over here? But now looking back at it, it's like, it wasn't bad. It was pretty good. I still, don't get me wrong, I still don't want to move back and live there, but
Right.
I enjoy visiting there.
Sure. Did you with the fish? Were you fishing at a young age?
Oh, yeah, grew up fishing my whole life.
So you're cooking that stuff eventually?
Yeah, no,
Is
we're
that
actually.
how you kind of got introduced to the culinary?
I I would say it was probably my grandparents.
Yeah. And they're in Portland.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think just going there like every week and having the family so close. So every weekend you just knew you're going to somebody's house. We typically go over to
nice.
my grandmother's,
Yeah.
and they're having either a fish fry, or she's cooking shrimp. They're doing steaks, doing fajitas, or it always just changed, and it was just a good reason to get together. And then we'd always have parties at our house. My dad, the parents, everybody else always just playing pool all night long, and somebody's always cooking. So I think I knew I wanted to be in food. I never took it serious. I never thought of like aspiring to be a chef. I never thought of opening this thing. I just knew that, if I do this, people are together. So it was like, why not just do this? It's like the party, more or less.
Yeah.
Until I got into a kitchen and realized this is not like the party.
And it's interesting that now the catering is kind of like something where people kind of come together.
Yeah. No, the catering's been the start for us right now. And that's the definite thing. Because with still being full-time at Sparefoot Kitchen,
Sure.
we've been limited to the amount of hours we can put in
Yes.
at Huckleberry. So we're just keep picking up as much as we can, knowing that now, like I said, we're at 4 months left. So, we started with just events on weekends. Now we're doing weekdays after work and weekends. And now we're trying to throw lunches in there as well at the same time.
Are you having to turn stuff down?
Yes, just in we're trying to get to a lot of people that we've met are wanting some of our catered lunch services brought in.
Yeah.
And it's hard because I can't quite I'm already at one kitchen for these hours, so I can't quite get away. So I've been having to kind of teach my wife rough things of, hey, I can prep all this. This is how it's going to have to go. You're going to have to be able to figure out how to deliver food over to these locations.
Right.
And we'll take off the first couple of days of once we start our lunch program at the other places.
Yeah.
And that way I can be there, be on site, show her give her the run through on the drop off, and we're going to see what happens.
So it's currently just you and her.
Me, her, and then I have a good group of friends who every once in a while I'll pretty much try to sweet talk to see if, hey, can you take off this weekend? And
does that involve money or beer, or how do you get them?
A bit of both.
A bit of both?
A bit of both. Come October.
Free food or something?
Yeah, usually, I try to pay everybody.
Yes,
I've been a cook for so long. I know it's not the easiest thing to get away, and it's hard to tell somebody that, hey, I need you off on a Friday night or a Saturday night whenever, it's your night to make money. It's hard to say I'll pass it. So I would say the people that we have paid, I've definitely paid them more than I know they'll make that work that night.
Well, that's great, yeah.
And so
treat them right?
Yeah.
So, especially because they'll come back.
And that's a big thing. Looking at the future of knowing that here in the next month or so, it's like we're about to start hiring some part-time help, and then knowing that we're going to be moving into full-time help. And so it's okay, well, how do I get these people that I really enjoy working with, and people that, I think could be a good bit for my team? How do I convince them to leave to come to me? And so just gotta.
You don't have to go
happy.
through the whole business plan, but there's got to be a lot involved when you think about like the commissary kitchen. There's got to be a lot, right? Besides just the commissary kitchen.
I'm still learning every single day. So I think we got our commissary. There's been so many hurdles that we've had to do, just as far as different permitting, different things that the city wants to see, especially knowing that majority of our catering that we do have right now is all open fire cooking. And so that's been a whole nother kind of hurdle of dealing with fire marshal permitting for stuff that's inside the city. Places that'll even allow us to build a fire, knowing that we're going to be out there cooking like a whole hog. So all our paellas that we do, those are all open fire paellas.
So when we get these burn bans, does that affect that?
No, not necessarily, because we're not doing any actual burning on the ground themselves. Okay. All our grills, all of our cookers, everything is raised off the ground about 3 feet.
Okay.
So there's no actual fire on the ground. They're all on our cooking equipment.
Right.
It's just, it's hot. That's about it.
Why the catering?
I think it was just it kind of happened. Like I said, whenever we started
Well, you want to work for yourself.
Yeah, definitely want that. And it was my way to figure out, say, if we're going to start Huckleberry, it's like, what are we going to do? We know we're actually going to be getting a trailer built here in the fall. And so it's, what do? We can't just keep telling people or keep posting photos and hope that, hey, somebody will start following us, which, I mean, that's still where we're at right now, still trying to get more and more.
Me too.
We can't just wait until we open and hope people will be there.
Right,
so it's like, okay, well, how do we get our names out there right now? How do we start showing what we're going to do? So
Sure.
Catering, private events, dinners, pretty much anything and everything that we can, somebody wants to eat. Hey, call us. We're here.
Hop on the podcast, reach out to Austin Eater. I don't know if
we've talked to a couple of the people at Eater, Austin Food Magazine.
Okay.
Austin's a good place for me. I've lived here on and off. This is the third time I've actually lived in Austin.
Okay.
And so it's always, the community's been great. The chefs I've worked for and the friends I have been outstanding. We definitely wouldn't have been anywhere as far as we have been if it hasn't been for the people that I've worked for and people have been willing to help us.
It's been great. And you've left and come back 3 separate times. Is this something that's a contrast, that it's specifically more friendly and supportive here rather than other places?
No, I think everywhere, depending on, I think if everywhere has its own areas.
Sure.
I like Austin. I enjoy it. I moved here the first time when I was 18.
Okay.
And I always come back. I started for the first couple times. I'd move away just because I want to, I needed to explore. I didn't want to just be stuck in one spot the whole time.
Yeah.
I didn't know where I wanted to end up. I never thought that, we're going to buy a house and start a business in Austin. That was never was a thought. Still 3 years ago or 4 years ago when we moved back, that still wasn't, we were still thinking, okay, well, are we going to go somewhere else? But then the longer we've been here, the more friends we've made, the more we've just been a part of the city.
Sure.
That, it's like, we keep coming back for a reason. It's like, because this is home. And we like it.
No, that's great. That's great. But you've been around. You were in San Antonio. Mm-hmm. So you grew up in Portland.
Yep.
And then what happened? Where were your next kind of steps?
So
I really want to. What were your next steps with culinary arts? Where did you end up going?
Well, I went to Austin the first time. I went to culinary school here when I was 18.
Oh, okay. So that was when you moved here. When you were 18, was for school.
Yes.
Le Cordon Bleu.
Yes, Le Cordon Bleu.
And so it's. We say it's no longer
no
here.
longer here.
Right. But you got your education. Did you value it?
At the time, no. And I don't know. I definitely do not regret going.
Yeah.
Like,
sure.
that's not I don't think I needed somewhere to go.
Yeah.
I needed something to do. Like, I was at the point where, I think at the age I did it was, I think if I could have gone back, and I guess if you could have said, I wouldn't say, go later, but I didn't respect cooking like I do now. I didn't think of it as anything. I was more of,
well, you're 18 too.
Yeah, I just wanted to party, and I knew it was, I've worked in restaurants. I started washing dishes when I was like 15. I was like, this is a cool lifestyle. Like, you're staying up all night, people are drinking, going to parties, doing this stuff. There's, it's just.
So was that what ultimately was attracting you? Kind of,
yeah. And just the family aspect of it, like being in the kitchen.
Of the house,
that definitely drew me to it.
That's been something I've tried to focus on with this podcast and I think I never have nailed it too much. I kind of wanted people to understand the camaraderie in the back of the house, because it's, I guess.
Well, it's a huge family. You're working together, shoulder to shoulder with people, and
burning yourself.
Yeah, and you're there
screaming
for at least 10 to 12 hours. I know people nowadays, in the way it needs to go is, I think the kitchen itself is in a transition, because you now know it's not feasible and people can't work for 16 hours a day anymore. Like, it's going to get phased out, and that's the way, the direction, if you look at cooking across the world, that's how it's going to have to eventually go.
Yeah.
And so, but regardless, you're there by these people on the shoulder for so long, and you're with them more than you're with your family, more than with your friends.
Yeah.
And so it's, at the end of the day, it's a family. It's, you can trust on that person sitting right next to you.
And it's a family that a lot of them have dirty mouths, and it can be a fun place to be.
Yeah, no, it definitely can. It's tough.
Along the lines of, the 16-hour days being cut down to like 8 hours with a break, with a paid vacation, whatever it is. Part of me thinks romantically that's not a good thing, because that environment and that workload and that like self-sabotaging kind of creates these interesting individuals,
It
and then
definitely
suddenly
does.
we'll have these like 9-to-5 cooks,
I don't think of it that way.
Good.
I think of now that I'm
There's part of me that thinks that.
well, now I mean it's going to go two ways. So whenever you do have that, you're going to realize the food will be sacrificed, because then you can't dive in all in, and you can know that you don't have a cook that's there 16 hours a day. And I mean, granted, I've been there. A lot of people, almost everybody that's been in the industry has been there. It's going into in a healthier direction for physically, mentally.
It's true.
And
True.
it needs to be that way. And then that's what, with me starting Huckleberry now, and me talking with my wife, who's she's not here, but she's also the other partner of Huckleberry.
Mm-hmm.
And
And her name is?
her name is Reese.
Okay.
Just Reese.
Okay.
But she is actually an event producer as well. So
right.
she's throwing on big things. But our big thing that we wanted to focus on, at least for Kitchen's thing, is I want to have people who have a life. I don't want just to have cooks that are, obviously we want to put out the best food that we possibly can, but I want the cooks that are working with me to be able to know that there is more than just the kitchen.
Oh yeah,
It's important. Like it's a must. And I think
Where did this come from? Why do you feel like that?
because the burnout rate of people have, I mean,
Yeah.
I've been there.
Yeah.
I've had it terribly where I never wanted to cook again. I was so over it, didn't want to do it. And so you need to have that. And even whenever like times we were spending at Contigo, I think we started it. That's whenever I would put all my cooks on 4 10-hour days.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, get a 3-day weekend. You know what you can do in 3 days? You can go take off, go somewhere for 3 days.
Oh yeah. No,
And
3-day weekend's beautiful.
The production that you're going to receive back out of that, the morale you're going to see out of the people coming back out of that, people more excited to come back, they're ready
Man.
to work. And it's just,
I love that approach.
you have to have a life. And
Well, when you get into like a hamster wheel, of working long hours and you're not making a lot of money, it makes it hard to do anything because you're always tired. When you come home,
yeah, you just want to sleep.
you want to sleep. And I think what you're saying is, I mean, it's right. It's the right path. And yes, it is better.
And so, I mean, that was kind of my take on it as far as where we're at. We'll see how it works. I'm hoping it'll go in that direction. And I mean, I guess too, I've had a lot of chefs and restaurants and bosses that I've worked for that at the time I didn't think much of it. But then I look back at it now and I'm just like, you know what? I was miserable there. It was terrible. I worked there because, we need money. It was my rite of passage to keep cooking and doing things. But it's like, okay, that's not how it has to be. We can make this enjoyable. We can make this really somewhere that we focus on, like, instead of just saying always guest first and like your chefs, cooks, front of the house, everybody second. So let's throw that the other way around.
Sure.
Let's focus on us first. Let's focus on the family first. And then, if we got the people behind us, we're going to put out great food. I mean, if you have that in my mind, it's happy cooks, good food.
Yeah. Same like you have a T-shirt that's instead of happy wife, happy life, you get happy cook, good food.
Exactly.
It's true though. I mean, you get somebody who wants to be there. You know what I mean? They're not flipping the last order out because they've been on their feet for 12 hours straight.
Yeah, I mean,
all right. Let me ask you about Huckleberry. So, what is the? Okay, if you guys do you have a style, a cuisine, or
yeah,
and Huckleberry? Where did this come from? Where did the name?
So a lot of people think Huckleberry is the actual berries, like the actual huckleberries.
Okay.
But coming up with a name was very difficult. It took us months of submitting things to the state, getting denied, putting stuff in, and just
seriously,
yeah, it took so long for us to find a name. I mean, I can't even tell you the amount of names that we came up with, and we'd come up with a name and say this is the greatest name ever. And then 2 days later, we'd search something would pop up. Gosh, somebody else already has this name, and there'd be too many similarities or something that likeness.
I could relate. I mean, this podcast is in its infancy, and I mean, I came up with Austin all day, it sounds like a morning show.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be a call towards like if you 6 all day, you
Yeah.
get 6 salmon all day. Nobody gets that. It's just Austin all day. Like it sounds like it's for Austin all day. But I found a couple random users on like Instagram and stuff.
Yeah.
But Austin all day, we're in the clear.
Yeah.
I got the domain.
Well, that's how we were with Huckleberry. Same thing.
Okay, so what did you come up? What did you want it to be?
I honestly cannot remember half the names. I think I was so frustrated that I put them in the back of my head. I was like, I'm not even ever thinking this again.
Yeah. But you came up with
Huckleberry.
Huckleberry.
Yeah, we
Huckleberry
were
Hospitality.
Yeah, I'm a very big Tombstone fan, and it happened to be on TV one night. And it's that line when Val Kilmer's about to shoot the cowboy and says, "I'll be your Huckleberry." And we're just sitting there one night, and I was, that's it. I was like, let's just submit it, Huckleberry. And so we went with Huckleberry.
We're in the clear.
And yeah, it ended up becoming Huckleberry Hospitality, but now we officially just go by Huckleberry now.
Sure. Okay.
But yeah, no, so we started with that, and it kind of progressed, and we were going in a... So when we started, my wife is a event producer here in town. She's always been a private contractor as far as events go, so she would just jump on to kind of job to job, and
Nice.
she was interested in starting her own company, getting things going as well.
So this is very
And so
very good fit for you.
Very
guys.
good for both of us, because I mean, majority of things now that come up, like any of her events that she'll throw under Huckleberry, we're the preferred caterer that's going to be coming in. And so
Nice.
we've kind of teamed up with that. And
Sure.
I mean, almost all of our jobs lately have been word of mouth, just friends, recommendations, somebody give us a call.
I've been told that's the best way.
Yeah, it's been I
mean,
wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
I really wasn't, but it's just kind of how it's happened. I mean, we'll take it.
That's great. I mean, word can spread, and I think Austin's got that kind of community. That's why I asked you if it was something specific about Austin that attracted you to this. But I also was wondering, what is the cuisine like? How do you guys go with? I asked you a couple questions, but the cuisine, like, how does that work?
So I have really been trying to focus on, I guess when we started, it's like, what are we going to cook? What are we going to do?
Yeah, yes.
We had ideas, and I still, with stuff that wasn't really with me, I mean, we wrote hundreds and hundreds of menus.
Okay.
Of just trying to figure out what we wanted to do. But so we're actually in a spot now that what we're doing is catering. Catering is, we'd like to focus on open fire cooking. And that one, we've done set menus. Pretty much that is a custom menu for the client. Whoever comes in, whatever they want to do. We've done big open fire hog cooks.
So it
We've
can
done,
change from
yeah,
from
that
client
one
to
changes
client. Okay.
very, very rapidly.
What do you get? What are some you've worked with the open fire?
A lot of whole hog cooks,
Whole hog,
a lot of
okay.
seafood inspired dishes.
Okay.
We've done last Sunday. We did it was almost an entire vegan menu that was past apps for a 150 person party.
Oh wow.
We have barbecue events coming up.
How do you take to that, cooking vegan stuff?
I don't mind it at all. I mean,
Yeah.
to me, it's vegetables. I love cooking vegetables.
It is
So
vegetables.
I mean, why not just bring that in? And I would say majority of the sides or vegetable dishes I do cook, unless it has dairy, it's going to be vegan.
Right. I think a little differently with the vegan, because I've like some of it gets so intricate, like the or not the butters, the cheeses, how they'll, or even just certain things that you have to make a chicken or something. Like
Well, we don't make
chicken.
any. I don't make any.
Right. I get your approach is more of it's.
Yeah. We're going very seasonal. We're going very local sourced on things.
Yeah.
And so whenever we say we'll do a vegan dish, it's going to be vegetables that we have.
Sure.
We're not using any processed like cheeses that they have. No imitation things.
Yeah.
I don't really mess with tofu too much.
Yeah.
If we did do tofu, we'd make it by hand, like by scratch, and I've done that a couple times, and it's a very, very labor intensive process, and it's
like
just not worth it for us. For definitely not in the setting that we're
It's
at.
not even worth it just to do it for your own sake.
Yeah, I mean, we did it at a restaurant a couple years ago just to say we've done it, and it was, I want to say there was like 23 steps, and it had 48 hours of.
Well, that's what I mean.
It was like this.
It seems like a lot of vegan stuff, besides if you just cook vegetables and throw it in a taco or something, it can be intricate. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, well, I like that. I mean, it's definitely
too,
for
yeah.
some of our past app stuff that we've had, doing small bites like tapas style menus.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice to be able to do that, opposed to some of the big open fire cooking that we also get into.
Sure, yeah.
You know,
Spice
it's just
it up a little,
yeah,
or change
and
it up.
change it up, make something that looks a little bit more just. We're looking now of looking at something that somebody wants to visually see and approach and be like, "Ooh, this is a sexy plate.
Right.
How do we go with that?" Opposed to, like I said, when we have our big fire grills, we have everything else up there. That's a show of its own, and so that alone has already just drawn people to it.
Yep.
So it's like, okay, well, when we don't have that, how do we still have to have something that brings people back in.
Sure.
And so
I gotcha. So the cuisine changes for the
Yep.
open fire, but do
For
you
the
guys
catering.
focus on like something like?
yeah, so we are actually
What's your
opening.
specialty?
We're opening up a trailer, hopefully in the fall. Fingers still crossed. We're going to get one custom trailers getting built, and that we are primarily focusing on coastal South Texas foods.
Okay.
A lot of seafood,
Okay.
and we will doing very Gulf centered
Nice.
meals.
Nice.
And so it'll be fun. I think we'll set it up with a kind of a chalkboard style menu. So everything we get in, we'll have for until we run out of that set item. And it's kind of a way I think I enjoy eating. And whenever I go back home, it's stuff that I see that
Yeah.
I think people
I like that. You're
don't-
bringing your roots.
Yeah, and it's just something that I don't see too much here, and I miss it out home. And I figured, why not do it here? And let's just, let's put the Austin kind of twist and let's sexy it up a little bit. And
Yeah. So if you could snap your fingers and have the trailer right now, where's the dream spot? Where would you want it?
Honestly, I want to be in South Austin, south of the river, south
that, yes.
south of 290.
South of 290. Okay.
I mean, I say that because almost every chef or cook I know lives in this area. And we're limited you're right down here in this area and limited in what we have.
It's very true.
And so it's
come
other
up
than
on
just
this because we're in South Austin.
Yeah.
We always talk about it. There's no food out here.
No. I mean, you have to go. We have to go. We have to drive 20 minutes to go get something because of where we live. Because we have to get on 35, have to go here, and it's it's like, well, if all the chefs and cooks I know are living down here and there's nothing to eat, it's like it's only a matter of time. I mean, we all know that's happening. It's all going this way.
Yeah.
But it's like, well, let's just try to get in. Let's see where we can get down here.
It really makes me think, because it is a matter of time.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll have Huckleberry, right, set up, but what else are we going to have down here in a short time? Because we've got things going up left and right.
Yeah, no, stuff's coming up here. And if you look at what the plan is for the next 3 years in South Austin, it's growing, and it's growing in a direction that I like because, we live down here. Now I don't have to worry about just going to the east side or getting into certain areas of
The east side is great, though, right?
It's so fun, but it's like, okay, well, you did the same thing as a gentrification that moved in on that side. Well, where we live, the same thing needs to happen, and it's definitely progressing in that way.
Yeah.
And it's
The
more
east
just
side-
bring things that are welcoming to us.
It seems like maybe they should slow down putting up really nice eats on the east side and just put a couple out here.
Yeah.
Because it's almost oversaturated. There's so much good food on the east side that it's hard to eat somewhere.
Yeah, sometimes it gets a little. I would not.
And I mean that
confusing
because
to
you want to
figure out.
go. Yeah, you want to go to there, and there.
Yeah, I'd say, especially now because we're so busy 'cause with working 2 jobs, it's, I see a place and it's like, ooh, I want to go try there. And then 2 weeks later, I usually forget. And it's like, oh my gosh, we needed to go try this spot now. It's
Yeah. On the east side or just
No, I
in
guess-
general?
mainly a lot of stuff that we'll go to, or not will go to, but a lot of stuff that's opening is typically more towards the east side.
Yeah.
But even Austin in
lot.
general, it's just
Yeah.
so much stuff.
I guess because we're kind of on the topic of restaurants, it's very beneficial for listeners and myself where when you actually do go eat with you and your woman or alone, where are the hidden gems, the places that you love, even if it is Chewy's.
Right by us, honestly, we go to the Little Darlings a lot.
Okay,
I love their patio.
that's come up here a couple times.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Let's see.
Chef Reese is a fan. It's Chef Reese from the Hyatt. So
Yeah.
I went there and scoped it out and talked to the guys in the kitchen. It's just 3 guys.
Yeah.
And that's it, the whole staff in the kitchen. And I said, I'm doing this podcast. Everybody loves this place. You guys should come on the podcast. As you can see, we can fit them all here. So we'll see.
Yeah, it's a fun spot. It's I enjoy that. We honestly go to El Mercado a lot.
El Mercado.
Yeah, on the South First. It's nothing that is just like
That's not a chain, is it?
I think there's like 3 of them in
Okay,
town.
there are 3.
But we go there a lot just because it's cheap margaritas.
It's a go-to.
It's nachos and cheap margaritas, and I think
Hey.
that's my weakness: nachos and margaritas.
Yeah. No Chewies? That's never in
No,
the thing?
no, not a Chewy's fan. I mean, nothing against them, just
Sure.
not my take.
They have a good happy hour. So
Yep.
they do, yeah.
And I think other than that, I mean, recently, I'd say in the last 4 to 5 months, every bit of free time we have is cooking at the house and trying to figure out, okay, how can we make something better? And it's repetitive and
Right.
tiring.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
You get tired of cooking every day, but it's like, hey, we're in this spot right now, and we got to figure this out.
So
do that.
what is cooking at home like?
Typically, I guess if we cook at home, we do a lot of breakfast, just because
You're a breakfast fan? Or like night breakfast?
night breakfast.
Oh, okay.
Because I now leave the house to get ready for one kitchen at about 6:30 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And so whenever me and my wife first got together, we worked that. It was the opposite. So I was at kitchens till 1 in the morning. So breakfast was like the one meal of the day that we always had.
Oh, okay.
And so now it's kind of like, we miss that from time to time. And so now we'll do breakfast a lot. Like if it's just me and her,
Yeah.
we'll do that a lot.
What's breakfast for you guys? Like eggs, bacon?
Fried pimento egg cheese sandwiches.
Oh, yeah, that sounds good.
That's like our go-to.
Fried?
Fried egg and then like pimento
fried egg.
cheese. Yeah.
Okay. I thought you were talking about maybe deep frying a sandwich there.
Oh,
for a second.
no. I'm not that adventurous.
The pimento cheese, you making that?
Oh yeah.
Okay, good.
I
Yeah.
have to.
Yeah, pimento cheese is a good thing. It's extremely. I can go through a lot of that in a short time,
Yeah.
which can be dangerous. But that sounds good, man. That
Well,
sounds
it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the rest of the time, honestly, now we are at a point where we have a good group of friends who are either like fabricators, like metal fabricators, or fellow chefs
Okay.
and friends. And so we try to at least like one Sunday a month, we try to all get together somebody's house, and then we just do big all day cooking. And usually it's like inviting another chef that we don't really know, but like somebody that's like, hey, I like what you're doing. You seem really cool. Do you want to come hang out? And you don't have to cook. You can bring something to cook. You can just we have big grills set up. Just hang out. And so it's been like almost like our own little like supper club in a sense.
I
Where
like
it's just
it.
like, and it's a way too, because all of us are, we're all busy. We're all have families, have this going on. So it's
Yeah.
like, well, how do we keep seeing each other? And it just gives us another reason to be like, we're all off on Sunday. Let's go just drink some beers all day and cook some food.
Yeah,
and
it's-
everybody just bring something and we'll sit by there and
It's maybe more wise than you know to make that a point to do that. I mean,
yeah, no, it's like it's the relief.
yeah.
And so, I mean,
And the months fly by. I mean,
Yeah.
all of a sudden you're doing it again.
yeah, and that's the big thing. I mean, you're just as busy with everything else you got going, and it's just like, wow, like what just happened?
Right. And you don't need to do it every weekend.
No.
Once a month is
Yeah,
plenty.
we try to do once a month. Like
Yeah,
we shoot
yeah.
for that. Sometimes it ends up being once every other month, but we always make it a point that's like, hey, even if it's just like 6 of us, it's like, hey, we're getting together. Like
Yeah.
everybody's in. We always throw the big invite. Everybody's always invited.
Sure.
And
I
it's-
wanted to have a Austin all day party,
Yeah.
here, I guess. It's in South Austin. You say a lot of people. There's a lot of people. I mean, people are everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to, like you were saying, everybody's off on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
But when I'm talking about like chefs from all walks of life here in Austin, it's really tricky because I wanted to do a party and like get you guys to cater, right?
Yeah.
We were talking to Spread & Co. I don't know if you've, that's Austin and Rosemary. They do like the cheese and charcuterie boards.
Oh, yeah.
And they just bought a brick and mortar by Tiny Boxwoods. I think it's 38th Street. It's really cool. I don't know the ETA for when it's actually, I think he said October actually. It's all, you guys are all starting to happen
Yeah,
at the
all
same
shooting
time.
at the same thing.
But, I was telling him it could be kind of cool, but it's very tricky to say we're going to have a party on this day because, the chef's schedule is,
Well, that's what we've realized too, and that's why when we did this, like we'll plan the next meeting like 2 weeks in advance.
Sure, you got.
And
you
then,
have
that's
to.
what we have to more or less do. And I mean, there's been times that I've even planned it, and then we've set
You
it up
can't-
on this
yeah.
day, And it's like, oh man, hey, like 3 days before, hey guys, I'm sorry, I can't make it. This just popped up. We have to go work.
And you guys,
And then-
no kids, right?
No, we have a dog.
You have a dog, and that's a lot of work too.
Oh yeah, he's a handful.
He's a handful. I'm sure it walks and
Yeah.
the grooming and everything. What kind of dog?
Rhodesian Ridgeback.
Okay, Finn is not here. He's like a purebred bearded collie. He's occasionally not here, and I had some stuff going on with my truck, so he's spending some time at my folks' house.
Yeah.
But he's the mascot. He'll be captured. Oh, there we go. All right. So we put he's the mascot, and in the studio that's currently falling apart. We've got these new foam panels up. That actually happened. I was going to warn you beforehand, but that's all right.
That the building's gonna fall.
Yeah, right. Well, piece by piece. Luckily, these are like so soft. They're like pillows.
Yeah, they're not gonna hurt anything.
Okay. Yeah. So sorry about that.
Oh, no
Yeah,
worries.
but yes, this is There's a lot of work. You're right. Time flies by and things are happening quickly. But like October, your Sparefoot's done.
Sparefoot's done, and we are 100% Huckleberry, which will be good.
Yes.
Because I mean, it's right now. It's still, how do we juggle a 40-hour job with that we're at Sparefoot, and then how do we maximize as many hours on top of that with Huckleberry? So usually we'll be out at Sparefoot by 2 p.m.
Which is we talked about that.
Yeah.
It's very good for you.
That's great. And then I'll usually get like an hour break. I'll go take my dog for a run, come back, and then it's Huckleberry pretty much from that time all the way through the night until we can finish up.
Sure. So you run your dog right there in the afternoon?
Right now it's getting a little hot.
Yeah.
So,
they like make it 30 feet.
yeah, no. Right now it's getting hot, but I mean, we had the whole winter and
Yeah.
everything else leading up until now. It was nice.
I have a longboard, and I just put him on the leash, and he like mushing like an Eskimo, and he'll drag me around, and it's great for him.
Yeah.
I usually do that before a podcast, so he chills out, because otherwise he's like, give me some attention.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, here, get yourself a microphone here. But he's a good dog. But so no kids, man. That'll be a game changer. Is that in the picture? I mean,
Yeah, we definitely want kids.
Okay.
But we're
you got a lot. You're doing a lot.
yeah. I mean, I would say right now some people have asked us like, oh, no kids, you don't have this. Like, well, I got a kid. It's Huckleberry right now, and so
Yeah.
that's taking all our time.
That's been a reference on the podcast, is when you start it's been referred to as a restaurant, but it's literally like a child. For the first year, it's like an infant, and
Yeah, we're trying to figure out, okay, how do we keep this thing alive? We don't know what we're doing.
Yeah, and the funny thing, that was Chef Phil, and he says the way he described it, is that they'll kind of like taper out and they'll be well behaved, and then they're teens, they act up again,
Mm-hmm.
they get rebellious. So restaurants kind of the same thing. But man, good luck with the Huckleberry.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. So the cuisine, though, like the focus, that's like if I just go there and I say, "What do you guys make?" What do you say? Whatever you want.
For what, the catering?
I'm sorry, the golf. Yeah, the catering.
For the catering, I end up usually, like today, we have a client that's coming up. We usually schedule phone calls, so that way we can figure out.
You did say coastal golf cooking, though.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's, like I said, that's our trailer. That's really what we want to focus on, as far as, I guess, too, that's what we're going to push with the catering, is saying, hey, this is where the stuff we'd like to do, but we're not limiting ourselves to anything, especially when it comes for the catering.
Right.
Like, again, if somebody wants a vegan menu, it's, hey, we can do that.
Sure.
As long as it's in our wheelhouse. We're not taking on absolutely everything. If I'm not sure, like obviously somebody wants like a Thai menu or a Indian menu, I cook that at the house, but I don't feel comfortable doing that for a full event. So it's like, hey, I may not be your guy on this one.
Sure.
But we'll push for what we can do, and anything can handle. And like, it's really when we start off, I'll usually talk with the potential client and figure out, what is your event? How many people are you at? What's your budget? That's like the big thing with catering comes around, is figuring out what the budget is, how many people, and what type of service you really want to run with.
Yeah.
Because it's a different
Did you
animal.
acquire this, like how to approach these guys and how to run Huckleberry through Sparefoot or through other?
Not really. It's been a learning as I go, and it's
Okay.
been talking to a lot of friends and other friends who own restaurants, and just asking their opinions of,
Okay.
How did you start? How do we do this? Like, I've costed out. I've worked in restaurants my entire life. I've worked in kitchens. And so when we started catering, it was a totally different animal. And so it's like, okay, I know how to cost out an item for menus.
Right.
I know how to do that. And then I had so many calls for the first couple of caterings because I was so far under budget that it was, it sounds perfect in my head whenever I did all the math. There were so many unexpected costs things that you have to bring
Like
bring
what?
out.
For anybody who may be in your shoes or going to be in your shoes.
Well, when we first started off, I guess I was underestimating that majority of the spots that we were doing our open fire cooking with, what we started, was going to places that you're out in the middle of the field for essentially, or you're way in somebody's backyard or in pastures. That's just where we've been doing a lot of our cooking. Not much has been inside.
Sure.
And so you're dealing with places with no power, dealing with places with no water, dealing with places that...
So do you guys have a generator for that stuff?
We have to bring generators. Like I said, all our cooking equipment's out there, and we have to bring trailers. Like we have huge grills that are 5 foot by 6 foot, big open fire grills. We have smokers. We have it's a process to get out there. And when we started realizing the amount of stuff that we had to bring out there, I mean, you're bringing an entire restaurant on site, and you're on site for 17 hours to set up, to break down, to cook the full, cook a whole hog, to get it's a long day.
The whole setup. And so, I guess the whole hog. How long's that taking itself?
And depending on the size, I think we've knocked out the last couple in about 6-7 hours.
Okay.
But I mean, you're getting there before the sun's up. We're cooking that, getting things ready. I always try to. Lately, I want to give myself as much time as I possibly can because it's always going to be that oh shit moment. What do I do now? I don't have enough time.
Right.
And so we've always tried to play our cards fairly tight and be like, okay, let's just give ourselves a good window just in case.
Yeah.
And especially with the open fire, the elements are harsh. It's windy.
Oh yeah,
There's so many variables. It rains. The show must go on. You got to figure out what do we do.
So have you been put already in a really bad predicament with?
Fingers crossed, or knock on wood so far. Nothing. Well,
we'll do
nothing that is nothing that is serious.
Okay.
Enough stuff that
just a little curveball.
Yeah, at the time, I was like, oh shit, what
out.
do we do? How am I going to do this? And then, I mean, from a lot of the people I've talked to that have been doing catering.
Yeah.
And they pretty much said it's it's going to happen. So I mentally prepare for the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
And so that way just running through all the scenarios in my head of what can we do if this happens, where are we going to be? Do we have what we need? And that was the big thing as far as cost is we need to have absolutely everything for if something happens. Because we're out there.
Like a plan B.
Yeah, we cannot not execute this.
Right.
And especially right now, because we're starting off, we're a nobody.
Right.
And so this has to be as perfect or as close to perfect as we can possibly manage.
Sure. What's the image that you guys are portraying? I mean, do you have chef coats, uniforms, hats, huckleberries?
Well, yeah, we got huckleberry hats. We just had those guys made. I would not necessarily say no set image. We're not trying to portray anybody, and especially whenever it came to the open fire cooking.
Yeah.
I mean, we're in Texas.
Yeah.
I mean, I was out yesterday with our big open fire paella event we did yesterday, and I mean, we're still in the shade, but I'm wearing pants just because it's so hot. I'm dealing with fire, but it's just at the end of the day, you're just drenched in sweat. Yeah. You're outside. It's
brutal.
Yeah, I'm trying to be comfortable, and especially the guys we have, it's hey, we're out here for a long time. Obviously, we're not going to just show up wearing holy shirts and we're going to look professional, but be comfortable. We're out here in the elements. And
with the heat, there's two approaches. Well, there's probably more than that, but you can run and try and get indoors to the AC as quickly as possible, which is what most people do, and they get in the vehicle and flip on the AC and close the windows and get into a nice cold office or something. But if you just embrace the heat and sweat, and you will just get used to it, and you will just be sweating, but you'll kind of get over it.
No, the heat definitely is.
But it's nasty. Don't get me wrong.
I worked at Franklin's Barbecue for
did you?
Yeah, for about 2.5 years, I'd say.
Tell me,
so
man.
we got pretty.
Tell me what
with
that was like meeting Aaron Franklin and starting over there with him.
Well, they actually fairly saved my career, I'd say.
Okay.
I was overcooking whenever I moved here. That was this last time I moved here.
Okay, so first time you moved here, culinary school.
Yep.
Young, 18, doing your, partying.
Yep.
And the second time?
Second time I came back, I was probably 22, 23. Same thing, just wanted to party.
All right.
Just
5 years, what can you expect?
Yeah, and so I still was like, I'm cooking. I had no dreams of leaving cooking. I just, I'm old enough now. I can legally drink. Why not come back to Austin, figure out ourselves?
Then you venture off.
Yeah, then I went from there. I was in here for about another 2-3 years, and I moved to San Antonio.
Okay, but it sounds like you started to get serious there.
Yeah, San Antonio got me serious.
Yeah.
I started working at Beagle on the Banks, and then I remember I was there for about a year and a half. I started off in the garde manger station, ended up being running the line, and I was the grill guy and then the lead cook for a while. And I remember I was like, okay, I'm ready to go somewhere. I talked to Chef Bruce.
That's a great progression for one place, yeah.
It was great. And then I talked to Chef Bruce, and I remember one day at like 3 p.m, he came in, and I was like, hey, Chef, I want to move somewhere. He says, where? I said, I don't know. I just want to move somewhere. He asked, have you ever been to Colorado? I said, nope, don't know anything about it. He says, would you be interested in moving? I said, yeah, maybe. And then, I swear, that was at 3 o'clock. By 5 o'clock, I had a chef from Beaver Creek, Colorado, right outside of Vail, give me a call and was like, hey, I just talked to Bruce. He says you're looking to move somewhere. And, I told Bruce, like, how'd you get off the line? He's like, yeah, that's fine. I went over there, talked to the guy on the phone, and remember I had the following weekend, I got a plane ticket, went out there, checked out the spot for about 3 days, then came back home, gave him like a 2 months notice, Bruce, and then I was like, hey, I'm moving to Colorado.
And obviously he was okay with it.
He was thrilled.
He set it up, right?
He was ready for me to start moving, and we got out there. That's where I'm going to say I got really serious.
Of Vail. Yeah, that's a high,
and so I got really serious about that.
Yeah.
And we worked at this little, very, very classic French restaurant for a Austrian chef, which was, he was intense.
Yeah.
He really kind of hammered it in and made me realize what we were, kind of just made me grow up, I'd say, as far as cooking goes.
Okay.
And then that's whenever I moved back.
How so? Well, he got that young and dumb mentality kicked out of you?
Well, I think it was a combination of that. I'm now 25. I'm like, what am I going to, where am I? I'm 25, 26. I was like, what are we going to do? I didn't want to just party anymore. I mean, I still wanted to, but it's like, we got to start figuring out, I need to take this serious. I have, all your other friends who are no longer, like, or not in that industry, they're all buying homes, doing things like that. Yeah. And it's just like, what am I, like, what's going on? I'm still just, I'm still just trying to get by with a paycheck, still trying to do this. And it's like, I mean, we still this day, I still am, but it's it's like, okay, well, we need to start looking at the big picture and figure out what's going on.
I think those guys who are doing that, sometimes they're saying the same thing.
Yeah, definitely were. But I think for me, it just kind of made me realize, I was like, you know what? I'm good at this.
Yeah.
We need to take it serious.
Okay.
We need to really, figure out what we can do. And then that's whenever I would say I started getting pushed just a little bit more than I was used to.
Yes.
And so, having that, and then it just
it's
kept
always
driving.
a French restaurant.
Yeah, they did it. And that's when we moved back,
Kick into gear.
We moved back to San Antonio. Got my first sous chef job at the Granary.
Okay.
And shit, that was like 5 or 6 years ago now.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the Granary. Still there?
It's the Granary. It's still there.
Same chef?
Same owner.
Same
owner chef. I don't know if he's there. I know he's opened up another restaurant. I know they had some ups and downs for a while, but I think everything's kind of lined back in. He's changed the menu.
Yeah. There's some good spots
on there.
in San Antonio.
Yeah. And San Antonio is an up-and-coming spot.
Yeah.
San Antonio's fun.
Yeah, it is good. I like it. And it's so close. I mean, you can just drive down there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like driving to the Domain in traffic. Mm-hmm. You can just drive the other way and go to San Antonio.
It's not. It's close. It's going to be one big city. It's going to be like a Houston in a sense, or like a Dallas, Fort Worth.
They say like L.A. It's all just a giant.
Just a big city. Yeah. That's all this will be.
Well, the stretch of 35. It will all be connected, and there'll be cool spots in between there, and it'll be a gradual progression. But you got kicked into gear. A lot of in San Antonio is really where it started.
San Antonio went there, and then after 2 years, I think I just got grinded down
Oh, yeah.
So bad after 2 years
But
of
we
just,
hear this, right? We were
Yeah.
talking about this.
and then I just,
And it was the hours.
it was the hours, it was the life, it's just,
Yeah.
everything it was a lot.
Yeah.
And I just mentally and like just physically was just so beat. And I remember when I left the granary, Reese had moved to San Antonio and was living with me. And I remember I was like, hey, we're leaving. I don't know what I'm doing. I applied to be a firefighter. I applied to.
Oh, you were
to be
just wanted out.
I was so done with cooking. I was so done. And then I was just like, okay. I was like, I want to be a park ranger. I want to do this. Like, it was so many things. Like, what do I do? I've never done anything my entire life. What do we do?
Right.
And so I remember I was applying for jobs in Austin. I was like, let's go back to Austin. Like, I just need to get something. And I saw Aaron was hiring. And so I applied, and they're like, hey, we need an overnight cook.
And were you thinking, it's just barbecue?
I was like, I'm just going to be able to go in there. It's going to get me to Austin,
Yeah.
and then I'm going to leave.
Okay.
I was like, that was my mentality.
Okay, but you didn't just say, this is way different than what I was doing. If it's anything
I
barbecue.
wanted something different.
You did want something different. But I'm saying barbecue, it's almost like, maybe I could do that. Or
I mean-
were you thinking you were going to leave?
I was thinking I was going to leave. I was like, this
Okay.
is going to get me to Austin.
Sure.
And I'm working the overnight shift by myself. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to stay here.
Okay.
And that's what I originally thought. But it did not work that way.
It saved you.
It saved me. I came in. Aaron was great to me. All the Franklins were great to me. Everybody there was just great. But yeah, I worked for about a year and a half. I did strictly the overnight shift. So going in at midnight and then getting off at 11 in the morning. And so
That's a good long shift.
it was a good day. But we did that. And then Aaron, for some reason, I guess he started getting more and more festivals and things. And then he started inviting me out. And so I would do those shifts. And then I would, we flew to Chicago. I got to go to the James Beard Awards. And
Nice.
I was the only cook he brought over there. And we started flying to Chicago or Portland for Feast. And then going to the food festivals in Houston. And so I was just kind of able to be there and see that stuff. And then have him bring back realizing a lot of things with cooking as far as with fire and the simplicity of it, and just kind of reignited like the passion for cooking and made me
awesome.
re-understand like, you know what, there's more than just sitting behind the stove and doing that. I mean, it took a barbecue smoker to kind of make me realize that.
Sure. Yeah.
It's just, and the solitude at night was great.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, I don't want to do it again.
Yeah,
Do not want to go work
What
those
is
hours
that
again.
time in your life?
I needed that little grounding. And then
Sure.
we were there for a bit, had a lot of blast, and then that's ended up having to leave and pretty much just, still love Aaron to this day for everything, but had to go to Contigo. They were actually hiring. And,
Were you at the restaurant or the catering?
restaurant.
Okay.
Yeah. We were...
Chef Andrew.
Yep.
Okay.
And so we were, I went there and I was sous chef there for a bit, and then ended up being kind of like an interim CDC for a little bit. And then after that, the whole Sparefoot thing happened, and then lo and behold, here we are.
Yeah, yeah. I love the Aaron Franklin story or Franklin story.
Yeah, no, it was he said it was a good time of the life. Like it was interesting, and it was just something that had to happen, because I definitely think if I didn't take that job,
What do you think?
I don't know.
Firefighter?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Something other else. I could have came back, but
Let me ask, because you got so burnt out, you were done.
yeah, I never wanted to cook again. I was
Okay.
just like, I'm over it.
And but like that is how you felt.
Yeah.
You were done.
No, like we sent in job applications to so many things, and
Yeah.
everything came back. You have no experience. I'm like, yeah, I know.
Because I see guys, they go around, and it's sometimes it's sad when you watch a chef who's burnt out and they want to get out of it, and that's all they talk about. I'm done. I'm sick of this. I hate working here, or whatever it is. Even if they're running the show there, or if they're a partner, whatever it is. And it's like sometimes did they get trapped in something they were never meant to do, or does the lifestyle kind of drag them down?
For me, it was the lifestyle.
Yeah.
It was a lot, and like I said, it took leaving one restaurant and then going to another restaurant and be able to see, especially for me at the time, how the owner portrayed themselves, and to realize like the way Aaron treated us and the way he treated me, and I mean, even on the trips that we took, like he would allow me to take Reese with me to go fly to these places to go cook.
Yeah.
And so, but seeing that made me realize that, like, oh shit, you don't have to be an asshole to be in charge of all this.
Sure.
And so, and that's the big thing there too. That's whenever I said at the beginning is, it's important to me as an owner and a boss to have people understand, hey, this is the family, and you are primarily, like, our staff is going to be number one focus. How do we
So
give you
you
this?
believe in that philosophy. Do you think maybe some of that? I mean, obviously some of it, but do you think it came from Aaron?
All that did. Well,
Yeah.
Aaron and Andrew.
Okay. Oh, and Andrew.
Andrew's been just huge to me.
Okay.
Massive influence. So talented. Aaron's so talented. Just very talented people.
Sure.
That are all here. And I mean, at the end of the day, too, and that's the thing I like about Austin, too, it's a big family, you know?
That's what I say.
And
You know, we've had a couple podcasts, and somebody's pointed out where they didn't say it's not like a family. And this is Chef Christian, and we have Chef Phil, who they're both going to come on and kind of talk about this together. But Christian kind of thinks that there's not a camaraderie amongst the chefs, where and I may be biased because I'm trying to do a podcast with all the chefs. I'm like, I see a clear camaraderie.
Yeah.
But I really do.
Well, I mean, it goes either way. I mean,
So
I know a
what are
lot
your
of
thoughts
people.
on that?
I look at it as, at least in
your own life, you get the camaraderie.
It's the camaraderie. And it's case in point with what we started with Huckleberry. The amount of stuff we've been invited to, the amount of jobs we've gotten.
And the word of mouth.
The word of
spreading.
mouth. And
Yeah.
it's all been from other fellow chefs, friends, other people that, you know, my wife has had in her industry with events. And it's been a big, I mean, I think it is also, it's who you surround yourself with.
Sure.
Because we can be around a bunch of people that's like, hey, this whole thing's a competition, which at the end of the day, yeah, you want your business to do good. You
Yeah,
want to be here.
yeah,
but
yeah.
I want to do just as well as, you know, the people next to me. I mean,
Yeah,
if
you
they're doing
don't-
well, I get excited seeing that, look at these guys. These guys are killing it over there.
Yeah,
That's awesome. Like, how do you not
competition-
get excited about that?
Well, yeah. Well, restaurants, they're supposed to like bounce off each other. You
Yeah.
don't want to just like slaughter the other guy so he goes out of business. You're like, oops,
No. And you're
oops.
not trying to, and it's not a competition. It's
You're right.
it's a family. I mean,
Yeah.
and whenever you're here, like it's, you know how many times, like even whenever I started being a sous chef, like even in San Antonio, it's, man, like we need a new dishwasher today. And it's calling up past chefs and being like, hey, do you know anybody that you can hire or lend, or can you spare a dishwasher for the night?
Right.
You know, and that's how I've always seen it. And that's
Yeah.
what people I've worked for has done the same thing. And so it's like, you know what, if that's not a family, then I don't know what is.
Yeah, we have another thing about Austin is it's the size of it and all the chefs. It's huge, all the population and all the restaurants. But like we're still small enough where everybody can be close enough that it's like nobody's a stranger.
Yeah.
And that's something I really enjoy. That's why I disagree. I think there's a strong camaraderie.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah. So
you have to have that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You can't do it on your own. I mean, at least for me, it's
Right.
like we need to have this. Well, I don't need to, but I really enjoy having the sport. It makes me feel better about it, and I'm sure us supporting other people just as well. You know, and
Agreed. Yeah.
we have other friends who are opening up restaurants, and it's like some of the people too that I don't even know well, but I know of them. They're friends of my friends. So just knowing that, I'm like, you know what? I don't even know you, but you're pretty cool. Like,
Yeah,
what you're doing is pretty awesome. Like,
Sure.
Like we've hit up a bunch of people since we've started this, just to even ask people, hey, you want to grab beer? You want to grab food? Like, I don't know you, but you're my friend, and if you get along with them, I'm pretty sure I'll get along with you.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
both kind of in the same area right now. Let's just go shoot the shit together and hang out.
Sure. So you said you're excited for that next episode to come out.
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
I met Edgar actually at a cookout about a month ago, I want to say.
One of your events.
No, it was actually, we got invited by the Freddie Diaz. He's chef at Contigo Catering.
Okay.
Yeah, he had a big cookout at his house, and we kind of went over there, and I met some of those guys, and I'd followed them already on like Instagram,
Yeah,
and just seen that
he's cool.
yeah, no, and we met him out there, and I saw what he did, and like I said, I'd followed him before that, and then saw that, and that's case in point. It's like,
I'll tell you, it's a good podcast, man. You know what they're doing, right?
yeah, no,
Oh, yeah.
I had a decent talk with him about that. And
Yeah, it's really cool.
yeah, no, again, the camaraderie, like
Yeah.
that's exciting.
They're doing like T-shirts and stuff. It's pretty sweet. I drove by it the other day. It looks great.
It looks pretty.
It looks cool. And they said it's the only restaurant on 12.
I know. He scored on that. That
He
is
did.
amazing. He is going to kill it.
I have my fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very cool. Yeah, right? I hope he kills it.
Yeah. Oh, man. Hope so. I mean, from what I've seen, the food looks amazing. So.
Yeah. And I've eaten some of his food that he like randomly made for me. He didn't even remember doing it. And I don't really even remember what it was. It was a breakfast thing. It was delicious.
I'm sure.
It was delicious. But yeah, occasionally I get like catered to. Like somebody made me a burger today. And I was like, yes.
See,
I will eat that.
I guess I should have brought some food too.
Well, yeah, you could. We need these cameras up and rolling for that kind of scenario.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, you've got a pretty. I don't know, the Aaron Franklin story. That's a real curveball though, for kind of like saving your.
Yeah, no.
Because Huckleberry would not be.
No,
Who the hell knows what you'd be doing?
I don't know. Who knows? Like honestly, who knows? I don't know. I'm happy I went there. Like I said, that led to Andrew at Contigo.
Yeah.
Contigo brought everything back to where it needed to be.
So, do you make a badass barbecue?
I honestly have not done a traditional Texas barbecue in probably 9 months.
Okay.
10 months.
Right.
There'd be some. We have some coming up for some dinners next month. So here, not this coming week, but next week, we're gonna start testing out, kind of dusting the cobwebs back off. I mean, we've cooked a decent amount of barbecue, so it's just some refreshers.
All right, and you have. I mean,
Yeah.
You were at the spot. No offense, Valentinas. I'm
I
gonna
love
work
Valentinas.
I'm gonna work on getting both of those guys on this podcast. He's so close; he could come by after work.
Mm-hmm.
And Aaron loves it, so
Yeah.
why not try and coordinate that?
Exactly.
And I heard Aaron plays the bass.
He used to play a lot of music. I think he did drums for a long
I'll just
time.
show him that and say, "Come on over. You come on over." We'll see. We're gonna work on that. I am gonna work on that. But anything else that you want to add here?
No, I mean I think that's pretty much.
Hey, let me tell you. So Michael Wake was on episode 8. There is a Lux magazine. Did I tell you this? Did I miss
No, I
it?
don't think so.
So there's a competition. It's on June 27th. This podcast may go up and that may have passed, but whatever. It's something you might be interested in. It's a competition. They're looking for 2 more chefs. It's good exposure.
Yeah.
You have to supply your own food, and then they got the whole kitchen and the whole thing. But I don't know, man. He needs 2 people. I got the email. I can give it to you.
Yeah, shoot me the email.
Oh, yeah.
We'll check that out.
Yeah. So I don't know who's going to end up there. I know Chef Michael Wake from Funkadelic is going to be there, and it's like Lux Magazine.
Yeah.
It's something about like the Austin, what does it say? The Battle of the Chefs Austin.
Yeah, let's shoot it my way. We'll check that out.
Chefs Austins, yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe it might be there.
Maybe
It's
we
good
will.
timing, right?
It's great timing. Right now, like I said, we're taking on anything and absolutely everything we can.
Well, cool. And we'll be here to show support. Any like shout outs you want to do, we'll do. Before a podcast, after a podcast, you just let me know when you guys get rolling with the trailer, especially.
Oh yes, no, we'll be. The trailer should be. So we're looking at getting it custom built right now. We're going through a couple different builders, and then we just can't do anything really full time until we get rid of one kitchen job, so that way we know we can dive 100% in and be open, at least 6 days a week.
Well, maybe you're going to get that chef in there who's at the end of his rope, and then he starts working for you, and you ignite the fire again.
Yep, that's what we'll try to do.
Yeah, man, keep it
Just
up. I love this
keep
approach.
the circle going.
Oh yeah, I love the approach. Thank you, Chef
thank you.
Davis. Yeah. All right, man. Have a good evening.
You too.